Welcome back to Surviving Mars after a brief hiatus, my friends. My name is Tobal. So, what have we been doing and what's been going on since last episode? I did let time skip forward just a wee bit, not too far. We are researching an anomaly right now that hopefully will give us some goodies once it finishes up. We have our little outpost down here to the southeast section of our map, which is going to hopefully give us lots of water, nice access to high quality water, because we are a bit short. If you take a look here in one of our main domes, one of our older domes, the farm is complaining of a lack of water, which is kind of weird because, in theory, it's hooked up completely to the pipe system, and we have water towers that are completely full. So, in theory, it's going to be pushing out water as well. Oh, maybe it's an output problem. Maybe it can only output so much water of its stored tank at any given time. Curious. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Otherwise, we are getting ready to receive this Rubicon Station trade rocket that they're requesting 200 units of metal. I don't rightly know if we're going to let this group land, because we just don't have the metals for this right now. One thing, by the way, I did change. I finally remembered, at the start of this game, I thought I'd added a bunch of mods to the game. I never enabled them at the start, so, you know, that's pretty par for the course. Nothing too groundbreaking. Of course, I don't really like to do anything other than quality of life improvements, but one of the items I have is, let me see if I can just stop him and see what he does. There is it's right here, I believe. It's auto gather. You can turn it on. So what it's going to do is the RC transport is now going to automatically go and grab whatever resource we deem necessary. So gather metal, gather polymer. So we're enabling both of those, and it's going to automatically bring it back to the nearest kind of stockpile point. So that's going to kind of remove some of the micromanagement that I have to deal with, which is going to be very, very helpful. We also have an auto explore feature, although by and large there's, you know, we scan a sector and I normally will see that message come up, but just in case we miss it, the Explorer will go off and take care of that for us. Right. It's too damn cold on Mars still, so our lake is frozen completely. We are trying to work on improving that situation. Research-wise, we've got a bunch of things queued up. One of the things that does look kind of good lately is, what was the thing? Anything with heating would be kind of nice. I don't think we have anything that does additional heating. This is more of atmosphere, right? And the magnetic field generator is going to decrease the loss of atmosphere due to a magnetic or lack of a magnetic field. So, yeah, not so much something we can deal with right now. Our research, we're really deep into a lot of these trees. Like engineering, we're starting to get to the point where these items are starting to cost quite a bit of research. So, a little weird that we don't see, I think it's called low G engineering, if I remember right. That's one of the technologies that gave us medium domes, things like that. So it would have been nice, but honestly, the barrel domes here and the oval dome is doing pretty well. I think that these are going to be the mainstay of our colony until we wind up getting access to the higher domes much, much later on. Anomaly analyzed. We have new technologies for research. At Low G Engineering is one of those that just unlocked. So, what is new? The glowing blue is new. We have farms increase the comfort of all residences. That would be kind of very useful, honestly, especially if we pair that with dome bioscaping. So we're getting residences in basic domes, micro domes, and barrel domes have improved comfort, because that's what we're trying to do for our main residences there. Low G Engineering is going to give us access to medium-sized dome. God, look at this research cost, though. 7,000 research points. That is crazy. The Hawking Institute generates research faster than a research lab. Ooh. This would be lovely, too, but man, 7,000 research per soul. Or sorry, 7,000 research total. We're up to about 800, which is still pretty decent. But the earlier we get Martian Institute of Science, the earlier we can increase the amount of research that we're outputting. So I'll queue that up. Drone Swarm is what? Drone hubs are constructed with additional 2 drones. I think I'm going to cancel Drone Swarm, even though it's one of those that was queued up, I think, to help us unlock more things in that tree. We'll stick with some of the higher ones right now. And we also got one more terraforming technology. Core Heat Converter, which is going to improve the temperature of Mars gradually. Lovely. Okay, cool. Very cool. So, I think what we're going to do, we're waiting on one rocket to arrive with no cargo. I think this was going to be one of our exports, I believe. We're only up to 8 metals. Are we going to do any kind of big projects here on the surface of Mars? Do we have anything? We've got a bunch of capture things. This is going to be a breakthrough technology. They need 7 drones for that. Boy, all these planetary anomalies have really just been eaten up. 2 breakthroughs are available. Otherwise, it's special missions all around. This would give us more water. We really just need heat and temperature at the moment, I think. expedition time 3 sols. This is going to increase the temperature by, temperature by 1%. But we're going to lose any of the atmosphere we would gain from this import greenhouse gases mission. So not too super useful. Launch a SETI satellite, 1.7 billion would be very nice. In our pockets, unfortunately, we're kind of lacking the electronics because I did queue up 3 Stirling generators to get built. So that's going to take all of our electronics for quite some time. Speaking of electronics, we've got 2 shifts. I could make it, no, actually it is a high priority, which means if it's a high priority and there aren't all engineers in here, that means that we've got high priorities on other buildings too. Yeah, it seems to be the case. How's our Martian University doing? We've got a bunch of graduates, both scientists and engineers. Fair enough. If you don't remember what we were doing here, we were going to make this hub, I believe, the comfort hub, or sorry, the service hub. So we're going to turn this hub into a service hub, and these hubs were going to take any and all of like kind of the residences in this area, so that everyone came to the same service hub to get all of their all of their goods handled. The problem, or their needs handled. The problem right now, I kind of put us into an awkward spot positionally. I suppose we could have done the same thing with this barrel dome here as well, because we could have put a dome hub here and here, and then that would have had 4 separate residential domes coming into one. But we'll deal with what we got. I do have a grand plan down the road if we can ever get to that point, but it's slowly and surely we're making progress. I think what we're going to do is jumpstart our economy a little bit. We're kind of struggling with a lot of resources, but we did get a ton of money from both our missions that we were doing as well as our exports. So I'm going to go a bit crazy with things that we've got coming to Earth and coming back to Mars once this shuttle lands. So we've got 1 landing right now, 1 Spirit of Man 2. I think we might have been using this to go out on a mission, but we don't have the resources for it. So what I want to do is a couple things. I'm going to launch a supply pod with just an RC transporter, because with the addition of this mod that is basically auto gathering, that's going to take the stress off of me for micromanagement, and we're going to be getting a lot more, hopefully, metals and polymers from the rest of the map. Like, they're just going to go out, gather the resources, and bring them back, especially to areas where it's, it's just not worth setting up the, before I wouldn't do the create a transport route and things like that. So it's going to do it automatically, which takes a huge burden off of me. Meanwhile, we also have some of our life support systems coming online down here in the southeast quadrant. So we now have lovely high-quality water coming out, which is great. I would like to, I think I mentioned this before, I would like to relocate some, not all, but some of our life support systems out of the way, because this is just turning into a super hot mess of just janky pipes and everything else. So maybe there's a way to relocate everything farther away, keep everything nice and clean. We do have a drone hub, a couple of drone hubs, that if we put them in the right spot, they would be able to, keep the maintenance going and keep everything working just fine. Alright, so the Spirit of Man 2 is taking off here in just a bit. We're going to have it do a mission to bring down a meteor shower. Is it meteor shower did I pick? Sorry, no, I picked the, one of the scientific research missions is what we're going to do first. So we're going to snag up both of these planetary anomalies that are left. Those are both going to be breakthroughs in technology. So hopefully those might net us something interesting. Beyond that, I might do a mission that lets us pull down an asteroid, and it might give us materials or some anomalies or something like that, or polymers. So we will do that as well. The other problem I have right now is we're super, super short on raw materials. So I think what I'm going to do is send a resupply mission with primarily polymers, metals, and electronics, because those are the ones that we're super short in. This is going to cost 2.3 billion. No, sorry, it's what we have remaining. So that's still not too bad. We're using every bit of space, though. Normally we've had a problem where we haven't been using up all the space available in the shuttle because we didn't have enough money. So it's nice to see that we are going to be able to have enough to bring everything here. What else do we want to bring with us? We could do, I don't know, do we want to do any kind of prefab buildings? Not particularly. I could do a Stirling generator. We do have 3 Stirling generators queued up. So I think I'm going to grab electronics. That's one of the big ones that we're going to be short on right now. The metals is more of a stopgap, just so that we can finish off this basic dome here and get somebody down into it so we can start extracting basic metals soon. Now, we are going to have quite a bit of transport fatigue, I think, with the drones. These drones are going to be having to not only maintain this drone, or sorry, not the drone hub, but this basic drone. These drones will also have to pull metals from wherever the people drop it off, and then drop it off at this interim point. which is then picked up by this drone hub and brought into storage. So, it's a bit of a kind of a hassle. We are kind of having them jump around a lot, jump through a lot of hoops to get our resources where they need to go. I think we're going to focus on maybe building some more drones down the road. Okay, so that mission that just finished up gave us magnetic extraction, which is going to give us a 50% production increase to, is it any extractor whatsoever? It says a safe way to bring magnetic extraction to our mines on Mars. That seems really, really useful. Is that going to be any mine whatsoever? Because that means that both of these underground rare metals extractors are going to pretty much get 50% of a boost to their production, which is super amazing. To be honest, that's going to be great. So I'm super excited about that. We do have let's see, one shuttle's ready to land. That's the one that wants to steal all of our lovely metals, which we don't have a ton of. So I am waiting for the Spirit of Man 2 to come back. No, sorry, Spirit of Man 2 is doing that research mission. Okay, Spirit of Man 1 is the one that's going to have all of our lovely resupply parts. So we're probably going to prioritize Spirit of Man 1 over Spirit of Man 2. Additionally, I do plan on kind of destroying the Moxie generators in this spot and possibly the water towers here. I think if I do that, I might be able to put 2 landing pads in this gap. And that way we're going to be able to get more shuttles down and taking off than, normal. So that is my goal for the near future. Otherwise, we are continuing to expand into different domes here. This dome, I think we were going to say we wanted to have a couple of living complexes, obviously. That was going to be a big one. I did clear away all of the water production in this spot, and we're still okay. So we're not under on water production because of the new water extractor to the southeast. So that's giving us all of the extraction we need, all of the water we need from that. We could also set a barrel dome down. It's going to fit right in here, wouldn't it? Oh no, did I get the spacing wrong? That's not too terribly far away, especially for a tunnel. Remember, the goal here was to try to have all of the connecting tunnels between all of our 3 domes come into the same little triangle area so that we had a lot less wasted space in all of these different domes. So I think we should be able to. Blocking objects. Oh, there's some kind of a tiny little... What is this? Oh my gosh, it's one it's one tiny little power node. Okay, that was why I couldn't put down the little barrel dome there. Awkward. All right. So how about uneven terrain? Oh, of course you'd be complaining about that. Uneven terrain and then blocking objects. Okay, so the closest we could set down the new dome would be right about here, which is fine, to be honest. That's going to be great. We'll have a tunnel coming from like here to here. This one will go straight across, and this big barrel dome or the big oval dome will come in at this point here. Again, this is going to be our future service dome. These will be larger residences and things like that. I also have a mod. I did install a mod for larger tunnels. And I don't know. Let's see. If we put down a tunnel here, it's still too far. Maybe that mod's not even taken effect yet. It seems like it's still the same distance, right? I almost feel like that's the same distance we've seen before. Okay. Hey, our resupply shuttle is about to land, so we'll get the materials from that. We have a lot of things that need to get repaired. We've got the drone hub down here isn't working because it requires electronics, which we don't have. Once we do have the electronics down, though, that's going to enable all of these Stirling generators to come online. I might start reducing the sheer amount of other types of power generation on the planet, or on the colony. Because look at how many things are requiring, whether it's machine parts, whether it's metals. If we can focus on, say, polymer extraction and polymer production, we do have a giant factory for polymers, as opposed to the smaller electronics factory. And I think also, don't we have a smaller... No, we have the full-size machine parts factory. So we are at least able to produce those two. But with the amount of fuel that we're able to create, we're never really going to run out of polymers, mostly just people to make that, to construct them. So I think if we focus on maybe expanding our Stirling generator field and get that going, we might be in better shape if I can start removing some of these excess wind turbines from the area. So, less things to repair, less things to work on, and hopefully it'll give us a lot of breathing room. Alright, much better after that last supply drop. So now we're looking at more repairs being done, I think, down here to the south, if we've already shuffled resources. Not quite yet. So as soon as we get one electronics unit delivered, which might be... Are you the winner right there? No, you're carrying polymer only. Someone's going to eventually bring down the electronics we need. So the southeast will pick back up again. We'll hopefully get this basic dome completed. We have a massive amount of metals now, which is really nice. So between the supply drop and the automated RC transports, I think we're going to be okay on metals. Hopefully we'll get back on into the swing of things with metal very, very soon. Meanwhile, I have to run some preliminary lines here in order to get power and fuel, or sorry, water, between the new dome and the old dome. So my goal eventually is once all these three are connected, we'll have the, fewer pipes and fewer power lines running everywhere. But for the moment, we're going to have to kind of jerry-rig something in order for this farther dome to have power. So what are we going to put in our far dome? Remember, we're going to be keeping our services here primarily. So what are we going to be removing from this dome? It looks like we're going to be killing a couple of research labs, security station, and hydroponic farm. The hydroponic farm is doing seed crops, so it is something that is relatively important. Let's go ahead and put down a couple of important service buildings, not service per se, but the buildings that you'd want in your home dome. So we'll get the... Doesn't it give you... A dome with a medical building has lower minimum comfort level. Yeah, we want medical, we want an infirmary in the dome with residences. So that's going to be relatively important. Our first shuttle is ready to go back home, by the way. So let's go ahead and send that out. 30 exports and 30 fuel. So Spirit of Man 1, head back to Earth. And once you're done, or once you're gone, we'll land one of these two. Spirit of Man 2. We have passengers. Oh, that's right. I enabled automatic tourism. That's one of the mods we're running now. So I think anytime, is it anytime a rocket comes out? Or did this automatically get sent from home? Oh god, passengers on board will die if the rocket doesn't land. Wonderful. These might be people who want to go home in general. It might have been homesick colonists. And I did send the Spirit of Man 2 off to do one of the missions. So maybe they've been hitching a ride on this ever since. Let's put down a few of the research labs in here. We've got a breakthrough over there that I want to look at here in just a sec. Looking forward to the Hawking Institute. That's going to be kind of nice. Let's do like a science dome, or it's not a science dome, but a science section here. We'll say that this is going to be the dome where all the brainiacs hang out, right? Okay, cool. So 3 research labs all tucked together. I could probably relocate some of the other research labs that are spread around and have them all in one nice spot. Right. So people who are waiting in space, go ahead and land. And our breakthrough is going to be what? Prefab compression. All spires can be ordered as prefabs from Earth. Very cool. We haven't really gotten into spires too much, mostly because we don't have the spire technology this time around. I think we've got water reclamation drastically reduces the water consumption of the dome. I mean, we don't have much else, though. You know, there's supposed to be, there's one for, gosh, what is it? One of them is a medical, I think a medical spire is one of the spire buildings. The other one, I don't know. One I saw is a mod, which looks really, really cool. There's one modder in particular, I think, for the Surviving Mars community that does quite a lot of work. And their mod was kind of a restaurant that it would go through the top of your dome, and you'd be able to go up and eat in the restaurant and look around outside of the dome, which, what a cool idea. Terrifying, but cool. Right. So that's going to get taken care of once, or rather the shuttle that's coming down will get taken care of here in just a minute. And I think I'll look at wrapping this episode up pretty soon. We're back on track. I think I remember what we were up to. And right now I'm looking at consolidating, you know, just kind of coming back to our basics here. Look at the fact that we've got, 3 of these or 4 of these Stirling generators now in much better shape power-wise. So I'm going to start reducing the amount of other excess power generation devices, for lack of a better word. I'm going to try to clean this area up, probably kill and relocate the Moxie production, and maybe even the GHG and fuel I might relocate at some point, unless the GHG, that might have been a prefab. Come to think about it, I don't think we know how to create... No, we actually can craft the GHG factory. We can build the GHG factory. Okay. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining me for this episode. Welcome back. Surviving Mars, we're back in full swing. Sorry about that hiatus, but I am very focused right now. This is going to become the main Let's Play for a while to kind of finish things up. And I will come back to this down the road, too, with a much more, probably more planned and laid out base, because from here you can see it's a bit of a hot mess. And what I'm trying to do is just clean up some of the randomness and the arbitrary layout and try to make it a little bit more efficient for both our drones and for ease of our eyes, right? So, thanks so much, friends. I'll see you next episode.